it is and roots are encroaching, sometimes, homeowners will sprinkle it around there to inhibit the growth. But as far as like out in your drain field, once you start getting roots out there, they're growing from the outside in, so the hole gets plugged. So even if you can get this root growth inhibited inside the pipe, you still can't get the liquid to get through the hole because it's already plugged. But
Because it's not cheap to buy, and I've been trying to keep up with that, but I thought I should, so I guess I can stop it.
Yeah, one of the things that we recommend in some cases is actually a trench around the perimeter of the drain field every few years to prevent those trees from, roots from encroaching, into the drain field. If you can keep those tree roots from growing in the first place, you're never gonna have a problem. Like the National Park Service on their drain fields up at Platte, the River Campground, they don't wanna cut a tree down in the park, and I understand why. In order to put a drain field in there, it's gonna get tree roots, so we encourage them to trench around with a trencher to get longevity on those drain beds versus using chemicals.
Thank you.
We've got about 5 minutes left.
We can extend a little bit since we started late, but Gwen and then Marcia.
I've got a question too.
Okay.
Thank you. If you go to county commission meetings, this is still brewing in the county commission. They can act for us. If Casey Noonan is your commissioner, Cleveland, Empire, and Glen Arbor, he needs to hear from folks. He's, I think, open to learning, but he needs to know that his constituents care. Melinda Lautner and Solon Casson and Deb Rushton and Bingham absolutely need to hear from as many people as possible because they are strong property rights people. Will Bunnick believes that the health department needs to act on this and not the commission. So Tom, would you address what you need from the commission in order for you to be able to do your job?
Well, first of all, I don't agree with that statement. I think any regulation needs to be from the people. The people want to have this, not the health department saying you need to have this. We support it 100%. We think it's good public health, it's good environmental health practices. But the people need to want that. And that's what Benzie County did. The people said, we need to protect Crystal Lake. What are we gonna do? And they came up with an ordinance. Then the rest of the county said, well, if it's good enough for Crystal Lake, it's gotta be good enough for all lakes, right? So it went countywide. But the ordinance needs to come from the people, and this room full of people today kind of shows that there's a want.
Can you act without the commission acting?
You'd have to ask the Board of Health that. I'm not on the Board of Health, I'm a Health Department employee. There's Board of Health people in the room today. I think there's going to be a resolution proposed at the meeting at the end of the month. Encourage you to come. Like Nick has said earlier in the meeting, we won't be able to fit this many people in there. It'll be standing room only, but that would be awesome.
That would be fine.
But like I said earlier, I mean, what are we waiting for here? Look at how many people, millions of people are coming to our county every summer to see our water. Shouldn't we be proactive and do something about it now before it's too late? Did I answer your question?
So we can call the Board of Health members too.
Certainly.
And who's on that board?
We can put that out online. It's
Thank you.
online, Board of Health, and Leona Benzie, yeah.
I think that's in here. You gotta get one of these things.
That's up there.
This is a treasure trove of information. Who to contact for anything.
Often mentioned is that the opposition to this is a property rights argument. Can you elaborate what exactly that means? And people who believe that, what do they say?
They don't want government intervention in their business. Well, I got news for you folks. Sometimes you gotta have that. For like Tom's saying, to protect our water. Either people don't know about their septic systems or holding tanks, or they don't give a damn about them. I don't know. That's why it has to come. And I know it's gonna cost money, and I know there are people that maybe couldn't afford it, but there's help for that as well. That's why we have to craft a plan that incorporates everyone and is assisting people, not imposing things on them. That's my take of that property rights deal.
So they see this as an imposition by government on their property.
That's correct.
Imposition on I can do anything I want on my property.
Okay, so 1, 2, and
Just quickly, as you're talking about the end product where the septic goes, I also am interested on the fourth property down from a cow farm on a hill. And what's the most effective way for residents to check their drinking water, to check those sources and see what we're really drinking?
From
Is there a source in
from
the
your water well?
county? Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's lots of laboratories out there that are certified to analyze your water for coliform and E. coli. And we recommend people do that on a regular basis.
But there's no requirement, like when you're talking about selling
Point
homes
of,
to
yep,
check.
the point of,
water
a
safety.
point of sale ordinance has to include the drinking water supplies,
Okay.
and we inspect and sample the wells at that same time.
Okay, great, thank you.
We see, you wouldn't believe what people are drinking out there. And I see it almost daily, wells that are just infested with creepy crawly insects.
Thank you for your presentation. I was disappointed when the county commission refused to have this study committee, but one of the commissioners at that time said, we don't need inspection because you can tell by looking at the lawn surface whether or not you have a septic problem. Could you speak to that? Because one of the challenges is separating opinion from fact. And can I tell as a homeowner by looking at my lawn whether my septic system is working fine?
No, you cannot. In fact, I use Google Maps on a regular basis for properties that I'm going out to that we don't have records on, because those drain fields will show up from the summer photographs that are taken from space. If it's a non-irrigated lot or a property that they don't sprinkle their lawn, that drain field location will show up, it's green. Does that mean it's failing? No, it means there's moisture there and nutrients there for that grass to grow. But if you walk across that same spot and it's mushy and it's squishy and stinky, yeah, but not just by the observation of it being green.
Thank you.
Tom, do you have an idea as to what percent of counties in the state of Michigan or townships have septic ordinances?
11.
11%?
11 out of 88.
11.
Or 83, pardon me.
83 counties.
I'm sorry, Tom, I should have shut
No,
up.
I would have known the answer, thank you.
Spend it by one and then
You know,
go on this side and then we'll.
Locally, we've got, was it Milton Township in Antrim, Kalkaska, Manistee, Benzie, Long Lake Township, Glen Arbor Township, the village of Empire. I mean, we got ordinances down, but there's 7 right there, right here. So I don't know across the state what.
Some of these ordinances, though, don't have the teeth in it.
Exactly.
The ordinance has to include upgrade. Why go out and pay me $300 to go out and say your system's this and this and this,
Can't do anything about it.
and not get it fixed if it's broken? That's the whole point of this. So it has to have the teeth to require an upgrade to meet your local sanitary code. And that's the number one thing that we look for. Is it protecting, is it messing up public health, and is it messing up environmental health? Either one of those things, it requires an upgrade of some sort. The other things, being undersized or being old, those things really don't matter. You can be old and still be working. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it polluting? That's a different story.
I have a feeling this question might be more than the 5-minute question. But one of the opening statements was, folks, sewers are not coming. What is the main block of preventing municipal sewers or lake associated, lake?
It's the cost. It's the cost.
It's greed? It's greed.
Too much money. Septic systems are a great way to get rid of it. They last for years, they're cheaper. Joe was mentioning septic systems 30, 40 years old, that you maybe paid $10,000, that is one heck cheap sewage disposal program for that home for all those years. An assessment is a lot more than that. And a sewer assessment, you're gonna get another one someday, because that sewer system's gonna have to be fixed again someday. 30 years on the road, it's wore out, and it's time for a new one. So, on-site wastewater treatment and disposal is a great way to get rid of it, and it works fine.
I just wanted to say that my name is Peachy Rentenbach, and I am the citizen representative on the Leelanau-Benzie Health Board. I sit on that board with 5 other people, 2 commissioners from Leelanau County, 2 commissioners from Benzie County, and another citizen representative from Benzie. So I will be working with Tom and trying to develop a resolution that will be presented at the September 28th meeting at 4 o'clock at the County Defense Building. So just if you have any input for me, let me know.
One sentence.
I have one sentence. If you could turn the word regulation, which has a bad connotation, to protection, it changes everything. Thank you.
Tricia had a question too?
One thing that's kind of been alluded to, we've talked a lot about septic systems. What about all the antiquated systems that exist? That I know they're out there. Like you talked about, like stuff that's just going into a ditch, or not even into a barrel with some holes punched in it that's below the water table, right? What about those systems, and how do we find those systems?
Well, you're not going to find without some kind of inspection requirement. The thing about this part of the state is our soils are pretty porous and can take a lot of water. Downstate, their soils are tight, they're clay, they're loamy, and water doesn't go away, so they rely on pipe to the ditch. We don't have it up here in this part of the state. So our illicit connections, we really don't need them because the soil will take it, but it's saturated soil, so there's no treatment taking place. They're hidden problems where, downstate where I worked down there 8 years in Saginaw and St. Clair County, have some of the heaviest clay ground in Michigan, and you would see the pipes going to the ditches. I mean, the ditches would be full of soap and scum and stink. Up here, you don't see that very often. We don't see too many illicit pipe connections, but we do have a lot of antiquated systems. I found another one of these barrels up on Joyfield Township last year, a plastic barrel, 50-gallon barrel drilled with holes. That was the septic system for that place for about 30 years, right down in the groundwater. So, and then one last thing on the groundwater, we're all in a watershed. Every property in the county is in the watershed of some sort. We all have groundwater to protect. So to pick and choose riparian and non-riparian, I think it needs to be a county-wide effort. All people need to do their part.
Well, let's give our panelists and our moderator a big round of applause. The sign-up sheet that's gone around, please leave at the front table. And once again, now we have them on 2 different tables out there. The postcards that you can send along with mailing addresses and all the handouts have been distributed on 2 tables so you can easily get them on the way out. For our regular attendees, we usually meet on the first Monday of the month at noon. Last Monday the room was busy, so here we are on the second Tuesday. Next month, Wednesday. Next month, we'll be meeting on the first Monday, but it will be an evening forum. What did I keep saying? Wednesday. What's wrong with Wednesdays in my mind? I don't know. Next month, October 4th, is a Wednesday, the first Wednesday, but we will be meeting in the evening in order to allow some of our more working families and parents to come and attend a forum. Doors will open at 5:30. We'll have pizza and salad until we run out. And this next one will be chaired by our Early Childhood Needs and Services Committee, and we will be discussing a committee action plan intended to strengthen our caregiving for Leelanau's youngest children and their families. So once again, we'll send out emails, but it's at 5:30, pizza, 6 o'clock rather than noon on Wednesday, October 4th. Thank you very much.